Hello, Gomez here for the LAN Up channel, waiting for those patch notes. We're seeing whether there's any more cards, because I can't remember, because obviously they said there were going to be 40 cards and 3 champions, but I honestly can't remember how many cards we've seen. So there might be some new cards, but it's mainly about the patch notes and what the changes are going to be before we go into the new season and get to play those lovely new cards tomorrow. So let's get into this. Yep, so here are the patch notes for patch 1.12 or 1.12. As we know, we're definitely going to be getting all the cards coming in from the new expansion, from the Monuments of Power. So we've seen all the cards so far. We know what we're going to be getting, basically. It does go in to be saying, yep, that's going to be the 20 cards plus the 3 champions, of which we've seen, and then going into the fact that it brings the landmarks, which is a new thing, and this is going to be the last part of the Call of the Mountain expansion does come in December. So we've got like another 40 and 3 champions coming at the end. At the end of all of this, which after December, then all regions will have an equal share of champions and a near to equal share of cards. So obviously, I think I'm trying to remember literally my mind can't remember which regions are slightly off, but now I think that some regions have 6 champions and some regions have 5. From what I remember, I might be wrong with that calculation, but I believe that's it. So we're going to be seeing a few more regions getting some champions. But anyway, let's continue downwards. So yeah, we do know about tournaments. They've already announced there was going to be the European tournament. So they're saying that the lead guy is going to be doing more spoilers for the expansion and debuting seasonal tournaments. So that'd be good. There's going to be a video going live, so they're going to be explaining that on the 15th. But yeah, so we already know there's a European tournament that's going to that's starting soon. So I'm guessing they're going to be launching the American ones and the Asian ones and all their different tournaments around the world, which is very nice to see, because obviously it's nice that Riot are actually supporting their own game with tournaments, because there's a few other companies that obviously are doing the same kind of thing, but there's other companies that have not been supporting their own games in the esports thing. And to build up this game's reputation, it's definitely got the want for an esports thing, because if you see all the tournaments that go live with Legends of Runeterra, there are actually a number of tournaments. There are a few prize pools in there, but obviously these would be the big man tournaments, and actually they can source through their own game, which they've already said, through the ladder they're going to be finding the people who are at the top end of the ladder, and also the people who are at the top end of the gauntlets, isn't it? It's the gauntlets as well, and then they're going to be inviting them invitationals for tournaments. So it's very nice. It's very nice that they're actually supporting their own game. It's a really good thing to see. Obviously we've got the region road updates. So Targon's now going to be going from so basically the experience ones, where you could get wild cards, champion capsules, all those things. They're basically because some of them only went up because they got things from the last one, whereas others didn't. So obviously everyone's going to be somewhat coming into line by the looks of it. Obviously Targon's still going to be a little bit behind, but other ones are getting their ones. So Bilgewater and Demacia getting their ones extended to 29. And then, yeah, that was shit so people, they're all slowly but surely slotting everything into line. So there's a few card updates. So seeing as the tournament's debuting, they wanted to change a few things. So let's see what's being changed. So okay, so we've got Guinevere, Elmhart. So she's going down to 4, because obviously she used to be a 5/5. I mean, to be fair, she was a very powerful unit. That she drops on 6. She's increasing all of your minions +1/+1. Plus, she's immediately going in with Scout, hooking something, killing it, and then getting to attack again and hooking something else. She was actually a really powerful card, so I can understand why they're kind of taking her health down just that little bit, just so that it means that the trades that she can do is less. There's less of them, but then obviously she still is performing the rest of her tasks of buffing the board and still getting that scout attack out early. So she still is a really powerful card. It's just that she's slightly tweaked more in line now with that stat line of health, so that she's not doing as insane trades as she was doing. So it is nice to see. It's nice to see, because she's for 6, as I said, she's still a lot of value with that scout and challenge keyword, as well as giving everyone +1/+1. Oh, Bastion! Oh, and Hush I can see is coming in as well. But Bastion, everyone's been hating Bastion. They're upping its cost from 3 to 4. They're still keeping it exactly the same, so granting +1/+1 and spell shield. To be fair, it's not it's not as, the card is annoying, but there still are ways around it. And so admittedly they have just nerfed one of the main ways around it, which Hush with fleeting used to be able to, you could use 2 Hushes to get something, which obviously now, as you can see, we will get into Hush when we get into it, but they've stopped the fleetingness of it. But it's still, it's not the worst thing. There's still ways around it. Okay, so I'm not 100% displeased. It's more the fact that so now you can't just save up your mana. You can't just save up your spell mana, play Lee, say you're playing Lee Sin, because technically, like, this doesn't stop Lee Sin 100%, but it stops that little bit of playing him on turn 4 and instantly putting a spell shield on him, so it leaves him a little bit vulnerable, which is nice. I do like that, because if you're playing the game right, you can see what your opponent's playing and you know how to play around it. This is smart, plus it's forcing them to use more mana, which means that there's less mana for them to be able to use on other spells to buff Lee, so it's fine. Leave it up in that mana cost and still keeping the same stats. I've got no issue with that at all. I think that's actually really good that they've done, because it was just feeling a little bit overpowered at 3, so bringing it up to 4 it does also mean now that it creates a different bot with it creates the overwhelm bot, isn't it, with what's his face, Heimer, because obviously it was creating the fearsome at 3, so it should be creating the one. The only thing is it no longer works with Tri-Beam. Upsetness, but still it's a good change overall, and I do like that. So Hush, it's gone down in cost from 3 to 2, but it no longer has the fleeting, so it literally is just the one thing. So people are going to be, what do you mean you put it down in mana to 2? It does make sense, because it's still, so what people will compare this to is what's it called, the Bastion card, why is that Purify, because Purify is a 2 cost burst speed spell which silences a follower. But so what you need to understand is that this is a slightly weaker version, but also it's not. Allow me to explain. It does have the ability to still silence champions, and that is very important. So you can say, oh, it's just a weaker, purifier, because it only is silencing something for 1 round, whereas purify can purify them forever. They never have their stuff back. But the fact that it can hit champions is very important, and so the fact that you can silence a champion and then connect with them, like in terms of like still do a trade, like say it's Teemo, you silence Teemo, who's no longer got his elusive, or Ezreal, no longer got his elusive, boom, it stops that attack. It's being able to stop things like Taric when he's buffing somebody and he's got to the point where he's unkillable because he's leveled up, bang, silence, he now becomes vulnerable. What I'm trying to say is that yes, it's a less powerful purifier because it doesn't last, but it's also powerful because it can stop champions, and that is very important. That's a very important distinction to make, because I do know that there's been a lot of people who've been saying, oh, you just put that down to 2 and it's just a less important purifier, but it still is thing, and it's a silence within another region, like, because obviously you'd be forced to play Demacia if you want to play purified. This there's still good cards in Targon, there's actually quite a lot of good cards in Targon, and the ability for them to have a silence is nice, as well as the fact that it says burst speed, but it no longer has fleeting, so it just feels that bit more fair, because you know that they haven't got that back in hand, whereas before they could silence. Now it's just the 1 and they don't have anything back, so you can silence somebody and then they can still buff that minion. That's the important distinction to make. They can still be buffed. You could still have another Hush in hand, and that's the reason why the cost has gone down, because the cost going down now means that it is now you can still have another one in hand and use it, depends on obviously what trades you want to make and that. But there are now obviously there's now the free cost, which is destroy a unit or summon, or is it destroy you? No, that's sorry, I'm getting myself 100% confused. That's the Noxus one, isn't it? Is the destroy a unit or a landmark, and the Targon one is destroy a landmark or draw a landmark. So yeah, no, don't worry, it's fine. But it's still it's put Hush at a slightly more fairer thing, where they don't just have it in hand and they can't just continuously counter. This now opens the door. See, this is the bit that people don't understand. This now opens the door to more banter decks, in terms of, so the Undying decks, the decks where the elusives, you can work with the Poros, you can do a lot more like a Poro stuff now, because this doesn't have the fleeting. It doesn't have the fleeting of continuously using it, so you can't just silence a whole board like you used to be able to. So the fact, as I said, Undying, the Poros, anything. This now does open the door. That it opens the meme door to a lot of creation in decks, and I think that's the thing that people need to realize is that's important as well. So let's continue on. Living Legends. So the old text used to be fill your hand with random fleeting celestials, refill your mana. Now the new text is fill your hand with fleeting celestials, refill your mana gems to full. Note, this is no longer refills your spell mana, so it now will refill you. So if you're up to 10 gems, you just get that 10 back, or whatever, whenever you use this, because technically, remember, you used to be able to use this at turn 7. If you had full free spell mana, you could have used this at turn 7, but now instead of it getting you all the way back, and you've still got that spell mana back up again, which means that you can early play the spells, like the obliterate spells, the things, and then still play some minions. Now it doesn't refill that spell mana, so you've got to be slightly more careful with how you distribute that mana. So that's actually really nice, because that was actually a really powerful card. If used correctly, that was a really powerful card. So that is nice that it's now just come a little bit more into line, because some of the Celestial things still need a little bit of tweaking, in my opinion. I still think that the fact that there's so much obliterate is a problem personally. Obviously obliterate is such a powerful keyword. The reason why obliterate is so powerful is that it means that it wipes it from the game entirely, which means that it doesn't come back from harrowing, it doesn't come back from if you've got anything which brings things back from the graveyard. Mostly speaking about mostly speaking about Shadow Isles here, but the point is that it stops that from happening. And so personally, I kind of want to see a little bit of a tweak in the Celestial cards, where I've got no problem with there being obliterate. I'm not going to lie to you, I've got no problem with there being obliterate. Obliterate is a really powerful keyword. I just feel like they should have some obliterate, but then some of it turning into kill rather than obliterate. But that's just a personal choice, but they would probably have to work around mana costs, and they would have, because obviously if it doesn't kill, if it doesn't obliterate, only kills, they might have to take some things down. But yeah, it's just that's my only criticism. But that they've put living mana or living legends in an okay slot now, where it's not as overpowered as where it was. Especially, I mean, you need to remember that you can still play this with when you got a leveled A soul. This still costs 0, and everything you create still costs 0. So the fact that, so technically that means nothing for a leveled A soul, but for a before leveled A soul, this is actually very important that has changed. So it's going to be going into the labs. So the labs are actually going to be it looks like they're doing a bit of an experiment where we're going to be dropping the landmarks, so you can actually play the landmarks. So this is a nice little thing, especially for people who are free to play and don't have the resources to create all of the cards immediately. You get to actually try out some of the landmarks, so you can be like, okay, this is what this landmark does, this is what this landmark does, and you can kind of start to see, right, so that's how that works. Do I like the way that playstyle works? Don't I? It gives you the ability to just like, so definitely a lot of free to play people who don't have the resources yet to be able to craft what they want. I would massively suggest you go into these labs so you can see what the landmarks are like, because it not only shows you whether or not you're going to like them in terms of you like the play style and kind of want to create them, but it also shows you how to counter them, so you'll know if you start seeing them on the ladder what to do. We still don't know how the meta is going to shake out in terms of whether or not landmarks are going to be important, or whether or not landmarks are going to get renegated very quickly. We don't know until obviously the cards get involved. So it's a good way to allow new players to be able to experience them, decide whether or not they want them, or decide which ones they like, and then go forward from that, because they might not want to spend their resources making these landmarks of which if they don't like the way that they work. So that's really good that they've decided to do that in the labs, just to give people a chance. So I would recommend any new players play labs, enjoy, learn how to use these landmarks and whether or not you like using them. So that's going to be week 1, and then week 2 they're going back into ARAM. I mean, I don't know if anyone played the first lab. ARAM, basically they just give you random champions and it builds a deck around it. So I mean, the most powerful ones were Zed, Draven, anything like Zed definitely was anything with quick attack that was like free mana that you could literally just throw out immediately and start, because they're really hard to count, especially Zed, because he gets another one. So I'm going to be interested to see whether or not they tweak that, because that when it first went live, all you had to do was get a quick attack minion and you were devastated in the ARAM lab. So I'm going to be curious to see. Personalization, so the new board. So they have gone down a Halloween theme, because obviously I know that people were a little bit upset with the new event that they're going to be doing, because it's like a K-pop event that works off of the League of Legends band. I've got no personal problems with it, but there was a lot of people complaining that, oh, it's Halloween, why haven't you got any Halloweeny stuff? Well, here's your Halloweeny stuff. So you can personalize by what you like, getting this lovely board, which does actually look really nice. Oh, look at that. Is that a Poro, what you call it, thing? Anyway, yes, which is pumpkin, that's the word. The new Guardian, which they did already tease out of the dragon. That's a really nice actual card back. So the Poro card back and this dragon card back, actually some really nice ones there, because obviously that goes with the Halloweeny theme. The new emotes, Aso with glasses, I love it. And yep, so it's gonna be nice. The little good day, the hat with Widget for Tom Kedge. Yeah, again, they're always spot on with their emotes. Their emotes, they do kind of derive from memes, and I love that about their development team. So yeah, no, that's really good. That's really good. It's giving you chances for bundles to be able to pay for them if you want to, because obviously cosmetics you do have to pay for, but it's understandable because this is one of the most free-to-play games there is in terms of card games. So the fact that this is how they're trying to get some money back, I have no qualms with it, because it doesn't actually change how good you are at the game. It just changes how your game looks, and if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, but you're not forced into doing such. So this kind of monetization I don't mind. It's when they try to force you to buy the packs, which is just like, you need to in order to be able to create a proper set. That's where I have problems. They're changing some things in Expedition, so they're creating new archetypes, because obviously Expedition, if you haven't played it, there are certain archetypes when you start taking certain cards, it's more likely to give you certain cards. So it's good to know that they're changing it around. Obviously with new cards getting added, it makes complete sense. New cards, new champions. And then the rewards, obviously, because the season's coming to an end, so it's telling you like all the different things and how much people are going to drop down by and how much like that. So that's all good as the new season starts. There's going to be new challenges, new AI decks, new quests. So that's all good. That's all good. And then there's miscellaneous. So Lulu's, which are art, they're improving that, because I know that a lot of people are having a go about that as well. Deck builder update, so to support landmarks. Gauntlet, to track 7 win first attempts. Yeah, no, this is actually really good. This is then obviously so really actually some good updates. I know there's going to be a few people who are going to be disappointed, because a lot of people were expecting a Lee Sin change. Bastion is a little bit of a Lee Sin change, but I do feel like he might get addressed later on. But with new cards also entering the game, you don't know what that's going to do. And the fact now that Hush no longer does what it does, so obviously people are going to say, oh, well, Lee Sin's going to destroy the meta. You need to also remember that certain things were being locked down because of the way that Hush was. So now that they're no longer going to get locked down, Lee Sin gets taken out by a lot of fast speed aggro. He can't keep up with it. And like I said, if you can get that damage past him, he's not as good as you think he is. So the fact that this now means that it allows those elusive, it allows those things to get involved, the things are going to shake up more than people expect them to, in my opinion. But let's watch it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed me just going through these patch notes, and that. It's very exciting times. I can't wait to get my head on new cards, new champions, build some decks, have some fun. Remember, I do stream on Twitch all the Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I do stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Also, join that Discord down below. We have a games night on Thursday, and we have a movie night on Saturday. I do have the goal of trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube or 1,000 followers on Twitch, so by the end of the year. So if you want to help out with that and help this curly haired mustachioed man live his dreams, please feel free to, but do not feel forced. These are just the options which are available to you, and I said I will have to do something if I hit those things. But thank you so much, and until next time, bye. Right, I'm gonna actually kill you because that gives me a card. I mean, I was hoping it. Well, shit!